because this is an interactive lecture. It's not really a lecture, interactive session. I'm going to ask you guys questions and I'm going to need answers. And inshallah, we have a lot of senior ulama here, a lot of senior ulama. So we're going to utilize, inshallah, all the ulama here for their input as well. Actually, let me make it this way. If you are 35, you can stay in the inner circle. If you're older, a little bit outer circle, inshallah. 35 or under. And then if there is more space, you can come under too. You know, everybody wants to be young, no problem, inshallah. Alrighty, I like it better, you know, because if you guys are gonna stay in the back, you guys are gonna talk. You know that already. So the topic is battling against temptations. I'd like to hear from you guys actually, what kind of temptations we're talking about. I think Sheikh Omar told me it's about shahwat. I'm gonna be a little bit open here. It's about shahwat. You guys know what shahwats are? Desires toward opposite gender, right? That's what it's about. I think anybody at any age would have this issue, to be very honest. So to understand, one is to know how to, and one is to actually do it. Two different things. One is to know how to battle against it. I think most of us have some idea. We're somewhere there. Second part is to actually do it. That's the harder part. So to get there, inshallah, first we'll discuss an easier topic. Then we will relate to that topic to understand this, inshallah. And that is, first of all, how many of the youngsters here go to gym or are a bit health conscious? Oh, mashallah, a couple guys, 3. All right, don't be shy. I mean, it's fine. Anybody else, even in the adults, you go to gym regularly. When I say regularly, even once a week, that's the regular, right? You're going at least. Okay. So let's talk about it. What is it that's needed to kind of have a healthy body? What do you need? Gym guys, what do you need? Protein, carbs. Okay. So we're talking about food, good food, right? Okay, that's good food. What else? Effort. Okay. You have to go. I mean, you have to get up and go. Okay. What else? Sleep that we didn't get last night. All right. Good. What else? Metabolism. Okay. Good metabolism. Yeah. Okay. What else? Hydration. Okay. What else? Like going to the gym, maybe? Okay. All right. What else? Discipline. That's a very good one. Discipline. You need discipline. Okay. What else? Huh? Work. Like work out or work? Okay. All right. What else? Purpose. Yes. That's a big one. So now the question is, if someone says at 1,200 pounds, a big guy, we know someone that's 1,200 pounds. So here's the thing. One is someone overweight, then you get to obese. And then there's someone that's like way up there, right? So like, I want to just do a random guess, right? If someone is like 500-600 pounds and they're trying to kind of cut on their carbs, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go order a big meal and say, I'll take a Diet Coke with that, right? That's cutting their carbs, right? But someone that's past 800-900 pounds, or like even like over 600 pounds, right? They're going to be like, it's not going to do anything. I'll take a regular Coke, large, extra large, big gulp from 7-Eleven, right? That's what they're going to do. So when we're thinking about some of those things, how the healthy body works, first of all, we said food, all kinds of food, right? That what we put in our body, metabolism. You know, metabolism is more natural. Some people have it better, some people will not have. But you can work toward it to make it better, right? So how that food get processed, and then how it builds on you. Now you're going to the gym to make it work. Otherwise, you can take proteins all day, especially if you take carbs. You're definitely gaining weight if you're not utilizing those carbs. You are taking protein and protein and protein. Oh, this is protein, this is protein. That protein is going to actually store in your body if you don't use it. It's not going to go somewhere. It's not fiber, right? And nobody mentioned fiber apparently. What he said? No, nothing. Okay. So now, imagine someone. So here is a question actually. Before that, those of you who go to gym, or those of you who have been to gym, let's say there's one guy, you see no improvement whatsoever. This guy has no improvement. He goes to gym every day, and you see him at the gym. The guy comes in, routine. He comes in, touches this machine, that machine, 10 minutes of running, and he leaves. And he's like out of shape. But he does that. As opposed to the guy who's also out of shape but doesn't do that. Do you see a benefit of him coming to the gym? Or should he might as well just not come to the gym? It's good he comes, right? So it's something better than nothing, right? A little bit. Okay. And is it possible that when he comes to gym so many times, that now he sees that, okay, you know what, I'm not improving, I got to do something. Maybe talk to a coach over there. Maybe talk to one of the guys that are actually doing better and kind of learn a couple things, right? Does it make sense? So here what you understand is that there's an environment. You see an environment that you want to get benefit of. And you see all the ingredients that's there that you want to take benefit of. Now, when it comes to temptations, and we're talking about shahwat, but temptations against anything that is any kind of law that we break, the law that gets broken, that's the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the shaitan's going to give us some sort of temptation for that. And sometimes it's not even the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we see that, oh, this is all halal, this is all legal, this is all okay. But shaitan has a strategy to get you there eventually. So before we kind of go more into this detail, I want to mention this one qissa, one story of the past that we see from the Hadith al-Mubarakah. That, and I'm going to actually briefly summarize, and I'm not even going to go too much in detail because I want to get to the points back of this part. So there were three brothers in the previous nation that wanted to go into jihad in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they had a sister. And they live in a small town. And they're like, all three of us want to go. And we have a sister, and someone needs to take care of that sister. What do we do? So they look at the pious person in town, and they said, they go to him and they say, can you please take care of our sister so that we can go and, do jihad, and, you get the reward for that as well. And that pious person, this abid, this person who is, very secluded, very focused on his ibadat, and, he doesn't really get involved in these kind of things. And he said, no, I can't be doing this. This is a trap of shaitan. I can't be doing this. And they convince him. Like I said, I'm going to fast forward this. They convince him. They tell him, all these things, and there's nothing haram about it and stuff. We'll just go. So the way they agree, he said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to put the food outside of her house or her place, knock the door, and run away. I don't want to deal with her. Okay, no problem. Just do that. At least she's fed. So he does that. First of all, him agreeing to it, sort of the first barrier that shaitan broke. There's nothing haram about it. Is anything haram about feeding someone and you're not even interacting with them? No. So he does that. After some time, he's thinking, what if she's sick? What if she needs something else? What if? So now he would knock the door and just wait for her. Do you need anything? No, you're okay, no problem. I'm going to leave. Okay, no problem. Step by step. Eventually, this person who is the most pious person in town commits zina with that same lady. And she conceives. And then he kills her. All of that happens, right? The shaitan is still not satisfied after him killing someone. No. Eventually, shaitan gives him a deal. You do sajda to me, and I'll get you out of this town. Now you start a new life somewhere else. And people won't know what you did in the past and move on. I mean, there were no Twitters, there was no, none of the online stuff, none of those things. You put the picture out and, everybody knows who you are. No, none of that stuff. So it's like, okay. And guess what? He does a sajda to shaitan. And Allah had it written that this person gets his ruh taken out right at that particular time. And he dies. This was the goal of shaitan, to make him die as a mushrik. And he got it. So when you have these temptations, they will never end. That, okay, I do this and this is it. No. There's a step laid out by shaitan already. There are traps. It's going to get you on that, one by one. And it's always going to start as a halal. I'm just looking someone, maybe I'll marry her. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just talking. I'm in college. If I don't do this right now, when am I going to do it? Or I am baligh, I'm 14, 15, 16. I'm in middle school, high school. I got to start looking. It's fine. I can get married. It's going to be from the direction, at least for you guys that are staying in the masjid, that's how it's going to start. For us, that's how it starts. But it goes somewhere. So now going back to our, this thing. Now, I know for the practical part, right? There's so many attractions, so many things that, basically so many traps per se. I think some of the youngsters in my area, when we are talking in our youth programs and stuff, they're really stuck on one particular part. And I don't know if you guys have this issue or not. TikTok Live. There's a TikTok Live that, groups of people, groups of youngsters are talking at the same time. And you have girls and boys. So for the adults also, we might have our children, 14, 15, 16, 18-year-old girls or boys, in their room. You would think they're just doing their homework. Everybody has phones and, access to get online. And they're chatting, video chatting, And those of us that are my age, we've seen it before. Like, 20 years ago, we've seen it. We used to have chat groups, get online and talk. There were forums online, and someone would come and do poetry, someone would write something, talk about all those kinds of things. And then that's how the shifts works, like you had people went on phone first, calling, then text messaging. We used to pay for ringtones. You know the ringtones you have on your phone? We used to pay for it because they didn't come free. You have to pay $1.99 sometimes for subscription to get some ringtones on your phone. Or when you call someone, right now it just rings. It will ring a special tone or a song or something. Someone would pay for it. So when you call me, if I pay $1.99 a month or $3.99 a month, you will listen to a special song that I put it in place for you to listen to while you wait for me to pick up the call. Huh? What? Caller T? Oh, caller tune. Yeah. So we had all these things, right? We've seen it. I mean, I'm talking about the folks my age. We've seen these things. So now they have TikTok Live, and they get online, and then that's how the friendship goes on, and it goes on and on and on, and who knows what's happening, and I don't even want to go into more detail. So these are one of the traps that Shaitan sets it up, that you want to be, it's so easy to communicate and so difficult not to communicate, because everybody else is doing it in your school, everybody else is doing it in your college, everybody else is doing it, right? Now, we all understand here, people that are here, we all understand that this is wrong. This is not something what we're doing. Now the question comes in, how do I stay away from it? And a little bit before that is that what are the steps I can take to stay away from it, right? Like what is it that I should be doing? Like we mentioned about food and metabolism and going to gym and these things, right? These are the ingredients. But someone that truly want to work on their body, someone that truly, someone that's completely out of shape, and they're like, no, I'm gonna go for full on. I'm gonna make six packs, and I'm gonna, fully, like get lean and everything. So what's the answer gonna be? Well, you need a coach. You can't just do it on your own. How are you gonna do it? Yeah, you can do it online and check everything online, but more than likely you're gonna get it wrong. I mean, you can get in shape on your own, no doubt about it. You really want to get in good shape, everybody will tell you that you're gonna need a coach if you're serious about it. If you just want to wing it, if you want to give it a shot, go Google and YouTube and these things is fine. But if you truly want to do it and you want to do it quickly with focus, you need a coach. Just pay for it a little bit. Am I right? Or yeah? No? Yeah? Okay. So now, when it comes to again this temptations and these things, right? Think of it most of us, as being obese on that, like a lot of weight, a lot of fat on us, a lot of those things, and we need to get back in shape. So what is it that I need to do? Well, I need an environment. I need an environment. Like I need to get away from the environment that's causing that problem for me, and I need to be in the environment that would not encourage me for those things. Now, there's certain places I can't like not go. I can't like not go to my school. I can't like not go to my college. I have to go. There's no other way around it. I'm not like I alhamdulillah I have a master's degree, and I want everybody to get a higher education and get a degree. I'm all for it. Like a lot of people are not. I'm saying everybody should go and get some sort of degree. You need to learn how the world works. You need to learn and you need to see how the world works. And at the same time, we need to be in a way that the world need to see how we work. They also need to see how we work. What are we? What are these Muslims? Well, who are they? How they interact with people? What are the restrictions? We should be the ones that say, okay, these guys, like here's the thing. These guys are out of our league per se. When I was in college, there were some people, some girls and boys, this particular family that I know, they were half white and half Saudi. Half white and half Saudi. And one of them told me, nobody sees us as a target for marriage. I was like, why not? Like, well, from my dad's side, everybody thinks we're white. From my mom's side, everybody thinks we're Saudi. And in college, because, we have, the girls have hijab and the boys have a little bit of beard and stuff, nobody wants to talk. And when I went to college in 2007 to 10, at that time, the trend was clean shave. It wasn't a little bit of beard nowadays, you see, right? There's no facial hair. So they had some facial hair. Like, if it's a facial hair, the girls kind of don't want to come talk to us. And the girls, they have hijab on, so the boys don't want to talk to us. So at that time, the discussion was whatever it was, but think about it. If you're in a way that repels the opposite sex, at least in college and these things, that helps you stay away from sin, isn't it a good thing? Isn't it a good thing? Think about it. Is this what it's about, right? I want to go into an environment that doesn't encourage this kind of thing. So environment is very important. Now, what kind of environment you could be in? Let's questions. What kind of environment that would help you, stay on focus on the deen, and still, when you go out, you can still basically, get your education, go work, and do all those things. What kind of environment do you think would help you? Masjid, definitely, yes. What else? Madrasa, yes. Being in the company of ulama, without a doubt, yes. Good company of friends, no doubt about it, yes. What else? Huh? Hifz class, yes. Parents, support of the parents, yes. So parents, listen, the children are saying parents, we need to give time to our children too. When I say give time, that I can't remember where I was there, what someone was mentioning about giving time to children. They said 1 or 2 hour a day. I think it was Mufti Ubaidullah mentioning it in Baltimore. Said 1 hour or 2 hours a day, every day, to your children. Without phone, without any barriers, nothing. Son, daughter, I'm here. I want to talk to you. How was your day? How did everything go? 1 hour a day. Something. I mean, I guess if we can't start at 1 hour, something. Face to face, sitting with the children. I'm here to listen to you. Your problems, tell me. And here's the thing, one thing I would say to the parents here: when your children are coming with the problems, and when I say when they're coming to you with the problems, or when their teachers are coming to you with their problems, you know your children. It's best not to go very hard on them when the issue rises. Listen to their side of the story. And if their side of the story is made up or completely being irresponsible, then you do what you gotta do. But before that, listen to them and see what they have to say. If they have valid reasons, then you need to encourage them and you need to take their sides. Because a lot of times, if they feel like they can't connect with their own parents, then this is where the problem starts. So, what else about the environment? We talk about good company, good friends, you know, um, being under the shadows of ulama, being in the masjid and madrasa, or particularly enrolled in a program like Hifz. What else? First of all, last night, those of you, the youngsters that spent the night here, was there anyone that spent the night in the masjid for the first time? One brother here. Okay. Two, mashallah. Three. SubhanAllah. That's very good, mashallah. So this is something that, if you guys are wherever you live, local here or wherever, talk to the ulama in the masjid and try to have more etikaf nights in the masjid. You're gonna spend the night somewhere in your home or your friends, being in the masjid, and then talking to your imam or ulama there. And of course, you don't want to spend the night on your own, and it should not be like the last night. I'm sorry, I'm bringing it up again and again. I think we missed a session last night about the adab of the masjid, or adab of the etikaf of the masjid. How do you make etikaf in the masjid? So maybe that session, and then you stay in the masjid, inshallah. But so okay, the environment is very good, right? But here's the thing: when we talked about gym, right? The health, the first thing that came was what? Protein, right? Like the food. So when it comes to this thing, the food is also very important, to be very honest. And a lot of time people will say, what does food have to do with this? First of all, whatever it is you eat, becomes part of you. You get energy from it. It becomes part of you. Especially at a younger age, if you're going to eat protein and go to gym, what happens? You're getting that muscle, right? So whatever food you eat, it becomes part of you. So it's very important that you eat. A few things to remember. Excuse me. You eat, number one, has to be halal. The food itself has to be halal. The earning for that food has to be halal. And number two, it has to be tayyib and healthy. You also shouldn't, we eat junk food, it's going to make you lazy. You eat haram food, it's going to make you lazy. You eat halal food with the haram earning, it's going to make you lazy. Because the source has everything to do with it. And a lot of time people say, these scholars there, or these Molvis, or these people, they're always hung on the food. The very first disobedience and the very first cause, the reason for us to come to this earth was food, right? Eat something you weren't allowed to eat, right? Think about it. Food is a big deal. And halal, from halal earning. And you got to be very careful with your food. Very, very careful with your food. Now, when it comes to, a lot of time people say, oh, I don't know, someone brought it, I ate it, I have no idea. So I should not be sinful for that. Well, nobody's saying you will be sinful for that. But let me put it in context for you guys here. Let's say you are really disciplined. Someone mentioned discipline, right? You're really disciplined and you are working out and you are going to the gym. Now, someone brings you a bowl of salad maybe, and you're like, this is the healthy food my friend got me, I'm going to eat it. So you eat it. After eating it, you realize it didn't taste like salad today. So they put a bunch of pepperonis in there, bunch of dry meat in there that you couldn't taste or figure it out, and you just ate it. Okay. Now tell me, does that food gonna interact in your body and mess up your discipline and mess up your, gym, attendance and mess up with your schedule or not? Okay. Now, if someone were to put a poison in that food and you die, you're still gonna die. Like, it wasn't my fault. Yeah, you're not gonna be sinful for suicide, but you still die. I mean, it's not like, So when you eat something, even by mistake, it has its effects on your body. Yes, we repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we ask for forgiveness, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove some of those things from my body, but it's gonna have the effect. Don't think it's not gonna have the effect. Why wouldn't it have the effect? People go, well, why wouldn't it have the effect? Well, you weren't careful, even if by mistake, yes, and then you have to take precautions. Next time you tell this person, look, I don't eat these things. Why are you feeding me these things? So you got to be very careful. Just like any, when you guys have met, everybody has met, like, someone that's really disciplined, right? Like, really wants to work on their body. And then what happens? Oh, what happens when they really want to work on their body? They're coming to your dawah, they're coming to your, program, and they're like, you serve them, rice and some sweets and stuff, and these, appetizers and stuff. Like, I'm good. I'm here for the gathering. I don't want to be touching these things. Well, why not? Why not? This is good food here, brother. I'm doing something. Or he doesn't want to mention, oh, I just ate. I'm not gonna be eating these things. Okay, it's trying to be disciplined, you know. So when we go somewhere and we have to be there, and the food isn't something that we should be eating, we can always make those excuses. You know what? I'm working on my diet. I'm these things. I want to just focus on maybe salad today or something like that, and it's okay to do that. So let's 1 second. So let's talk about this thing, right? Now we talk about food. So it's very important to have food. Now, one is the physical food that we just talked about, right? Now there's spiritual food. You need that too, because when you're fighting temptations, physically you have to be prepared, and mentally and spiritually you have to be prepared. So anything comes your way, you can fight it off. So what are the spiritual ways? Now tell me, you guys. Spiritual. Reading the Quran, yes, of course. Dhikr of Allah, yes, of course. Salah. Look, how many hufaz here, first of all? Or how many people are doing hifz right now? MashaAllah. Okay, 21st juz, first ayah. Who's going to read it? 21st juz, first ayah. Read it. You read it. أتل ما أوحي إليك من الكتاب وأقم الصلاة. Literally, these guys just said that. Quran, dhikr, salah. Like, and what's the next part? إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر. The salah is going to stop you from all kinds of immorality, everything. Like, whether that be temptations, whether that be stealing. And stealing, comes also temptations, right? You want to steal something, you want to have something someone else has. Anything and everything, the salah and the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you fight. But it doesn't come just like that. It's not like a magic pill. You take it and that's it. It's not like a Tylenol. You have a headache, you take Tylenol and it's good now. No. It takes time, You guys know, when you're taking these medicine nowadays, right? Like the one the doctor gives you, it works very fast, right? But then other people tell you a natural way to fight it off. They'll say, oh, you have this issue, there's a natural way to do it. Natural way would take like 3-4 months to build, but then you get rid of that issue for a long time. Yeah. And then you have an issue like, some sort of issue, and they'll give you some, like, let's say you have a problem in your body and they give you like a steroid. Works in 2 weeks, 1 week. I hurt my back, and they gave me a lot of exercises to do, a lot of those things to do, and just wasn't improving. Then they gave me a steroid shot. They put a shot. Next day, I'm feeling like I'm completely good, like in 1 day. And then they said, "Well, this is temporary. It's gonna go away. You got to work on your, core muscles and all that stuff." Okay, it takes a long time to do it, but that's a natural way to do it. So when we talking about these remedies from Quran and Sunnah, they work. They really work, but it takes time for it to kind of get in process and work. It takes time. You have to build that strength over time. And here's the thing: Allah Subhanahu wa Taala also wants to see: are you truly repenting, and are you truly coming back to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and are you truly focused on this thing, or you just kind of like what like to call it soda bottle. You open the soda, and then 20 minutes later it's flat, or next day is flat. So are you flat next day, or are you really dedicated? So now, what else? What other remedies? What can we think of? Like, of course, the overall theme is going to be the Quran and the dhikr and the salah. But what kind of salah? What, like, how much Quran or what kind of dhikr are we talking about? What are we talking? When we say salah, are we talking about a particular salah, like a Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, or are we talking about something? What are we talking about? Hmm? Istikhara, you saying? It could be. What else? Nawafil, okay. What else? What else? What else? Sunnah, tahajjud. So here's how it's gonna work. Just like now, go back to your gym example, right? Depending on where you are in your workout, if you're just starting, they're gonna be like, "You're just starting, no problem. Just come to the gym, hit your cardio, a little bit of weightlifting. You're good for now." So depending on where you are, and then again, this is a normal person starting, right? Someone really focused, I really want to get ahead. They're gonna be like, you're gonna be doing boot camp. So this is different where you are in your life, where you are. So for some people, it's gonna be like if you're not already praying 5 times salah, your first step is gonna be your 5 times salah. First of all, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So for someone not praying 5 times salah, think about it. This guy is just eating McDonald's all 3 times a day. Super unhealthy, all haram stuff, unhealthy stuff, unhealthy by all standards, and haram on top of that, right? So we got to get back on our 5 times salah. Now, a lot of times, I work, I do this, I do that. No matter where you are, talk to your supervisor. I have been working since high school, since the beginning of high school, actually, continuously. I was working 35 hours a week in high school. For salah, you can talk to your supervisor. The hardest people that give you a hard time, I'm sorry to say this, the hardest one you're going to have to deal with, you know who? Muslims. I'm sorry to say this. The very Muslim bosses are going to be the hardest one to talk to. Why do you want to start salah now? Just because you're working for them and it's hurting their business, why you want to start salah now? What is that supposed to mean? Why you want to start salah? The question should be, why do you not want to pray salah? From a Muslim, the question shouldn't be why you want to pray salah. It should be why you do not want to pray salah. So the hardest one is the Muslims. I'm sorry to say this, but and those aren't going to be the ones that are sitting here. They're going to be the ones that are not here, unfortunately. So, and I mean, I've worked for Muslim people, worked for Jewish people, I worked for Christians, worked for atheists also. Like, not going to believe it. The easiest boss I had was a Jewish guy. Gave me a whole Ramadan off paid. Paid Ramadan off. I said, Ramadan's coming, and we have to pray Taraweeh at night. We have to fast during the day. He said, what does that mean? First, he said, what does it mean for you? Ramadan's coming. I said, well, this is the case. I would love it, if you go a little easy on me and work with my schedule. He said, you know what? Let's just start this project after Ramadan. We'll keep the arrangements for the payment the same way. Okay, no problem. I'll love to take Ramadan off. Why not? Why not? But now going back to this thing, if you're working somewhere 5 times a day, you have to pray. Working, talk to your boss. Be like, you know what? I'm sorry, I have to start praying. So I just need, I'm assuming it's still the case. Like when we work in the fast food, everybody takes a 5 to 10 minute off who smoke. Like the guy have to smoke after like a busy session of an hour of serving food. Oh, boss, I gotta go smoke. And we didn't smoke, so like those of us that didn't smoke, like, can we take a 10-minute off? Why? Why do you need a 10-minute off? Well, you give a guy that's smoking 10 minutes off. You're encouraging him to smoke. Can't I take a 5-minute off? No, you can't. So you just say, you know what? I need a 5 to 10 minutes off for work. For salah. Let's say what's the minimum wage right now? Like $11 here? $12.40 now. Oh, that's good. That's a good minimum wage, man. Let's say $12.40, right? So let's say you're gonna pray Dhuhr not Dhuhr, Asr and Maghrib when you're working, right? And you take 5 minutes off for each. Well, let's say altogether 15 minutes off. How much money are you losing? And you say, you know what? You don't want to pay? Don't problem. I'll clock out. How much money are you going to lose at $12.40? Maybe less than $4, right? Less than $4. You're going to lose 20 minutes. If you do all that Asr and Maghrib in 20 minutes, which you're not going to take 20 minutes, you're going to lose $4 in a whole shift. $4, you probably pay more than that when you go for a coffee at 7-Eleven or something. So take that $4 hit. It's fine, and pray. You know, don't expect your boss to pay for your salah. If he says don't clock out, it's fine, but don't expect him to pay, and you don't want him to pay. To be very honest with you, it's your salah. Like, I'm paying for it. I don't want anybody to be paying for my salah. Do that. Now, next in line, salah, and then so 5 times salah. That's the first start. 5 times salah. Now the second part is gonna be what? If you're already doing 5 times salah, and you're like, you know what, I'm already doing 5 times salah, and I'm not able to handle myself, and it's getting crazy. You gotta increase on your salah. What you gonna do? Yes, read Quran, but you know earlier what you said? You said nafal or something else. What did you say? Sunnah. Yes. Well, sunnah is something we should be praying regardless, but then focus on some of the sunnah that, like the tahajjud is a sunnah, but it's a nafil salah, but it's a sunnah, so some prayed, right? So focus on those kind of sunnah, right? Tahajjud. You have some of the other, tahajjud is a difficult one. Alhamdulillah, many of us pray today. It's a difficult one, but any kind of extra nawafil would help you. Now, you tried all of those things, nothing helping you. There is something that's going to help you. Again, it's a remedy. You have to do it for a long time again. And it's definitely going to help you. There's no other way around it. This is one of those magic pills, but you have to do it for some time for it to work. Anybody know what that is? Huh? I can't hear you, sorry. Yeah, that's a good one, but that's not what I'm talking about. These are the things that can give you the environment and stuff. That's definitely help you. But I'm saying you're doing all those things. You're coming to the masjid regularly. You're praying. You're doing all those things. There's one thing in the ingredient. You're going to add that, and it's going to help you. Du'as are there. Nawafils are there. Yes. What else? There's one main thing. Fasting. If nothing works, and you're like, you know what, I cannot get married right now. I need to focus on my education. I need to focus on this. I need to focus on that. Or it's just not going to happen right now, and I'm not able to control myself. Then you put that big thing in there. But the fasting itself is going to help you. But you have to do it for some time. If you fast for a day or two, it's going to actually have an opposite effect. So if you fast continuously for some time, and it's basically going to kill your desires. And it's a previous saying. Like, people say, oh, you don't have energy in these things. No. If you focus, you're going to have a lot more energy in fasting than you. There's a whole thing right now for past few years that's going on. Oh, fasting will help you, boost your metabolism. Fasting will help you with this and that. So fasting has a lot of benefit, and we were told by Rasulullah, over 1400 years ago. So fasting, the benefits of fastings are there. So the fasting is next in line that's going to help you. But you have to create an environment for everything else for that. You can just fast too if you want, but what is fasting going to do to you if you are not focused and not connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You have to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to start your salah. If you're not praying your salah, you got to start. Again, think about it. Everybody wants to be in shape, right? Now, think of it in your mind. What is my spiritual shape? How bad am I? And you're going to see yourself as big, obese guy that's just eating McDonald's, or not even 3, like 5 times a day, 6 times a day, like 8 times a day. If you're not praying your 5 times salah, you're definitely one of those guys. Just think about it. Am I this fat, big guy eating McDonald's all the time, Like, first eating unhealthy and haram. Am I that guy missing salah? Am I that guy, first of all, So once, get back in your 5 times salah, And here's the thing to remember. If coming to the masjid regularly, praying your salawat, and doing the dhikr, and everything is not really doing much for you, you can't stop doing it. Because the question, remember I asked, if the guy is coming to the gym every day, but he has no improvement, remember the question I asked? What you guys said, you still have to come, better than not coming to the gym, right? Stay active. You don't know benefits you're getting. You only see it afterward when you're not getting those benefits, right? Right? Or no? You guys are sleeping, man. I remember last night I was trying to sleep. Nobody was letting me sleep, so I'm not gonna let you guys sleep right now. So I need to hear more. I was like, man, well, where's Sheikh Osman? Where did he go? MashaAllah, you went out pretty fast, and I'm like, man, these guys are all sleeping, and I can't sleep, and these guys are talking, and they have this laser light, and they're bugging everybody. Who had that laser light last night? Someone had that. I mean, definitely, putting on other guys, and I'm like, man, who's in charge here? I need to talk to the supervisor here. These guys are out of, control. SubhanAllah. And that was one of those temptations, right? You guys were kind of, whoever was messing around last night when those hey, those are the guys in the back. Why are you guys in the back? Come in the front, man. I'm not, come here, all the way in the front. These were the guys that were sleeping in that area. All of you guys, come. Okay. Now, I would like to, okay, so now we're talking about the spiritual aspect, right? You have the salah, you have the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have the siyam, your fasting. These are the things that can help you. Now, what else? What else? We talk about the environment, right? We said coming to the masjid and stuff. But it's not just the positive environment that you need. You also need to cut on the negative environment. Negative environment. What are the places that people go that make them say out of control? You are like, man, I have to give in on the pressure, this peer pressure. What other places? High school, club. This guy is way ahead of you, man. Club. What else? Gym. Look at that. He cut the whole thing now. Done. What else? Huh? So here's the thing. If you're going to high school, you're going to have to go to high school. You can't do anything about it. You have to go to high school. You have to study. Okay. It's a bad environment for me. Then if there's Islamic school available, sure. If there isn't one available, there's no reason to quit a high school. If there's no alternate option available, you still have to go to school. Now the question comes in is that it goes to the brother was saying earlier, the gathering. What kind of friends you have? What kind of friends you have? I went to high school. At one point, I was the only Muslim guy in the whole school. So if you're the only guy, what you gonna do? Keep your head down, man. Like you can't do anything. So if you have friends that are Muslim, but they aren't acting so much like Muslims, then you don't have to have friends. It's fine. I mean, you can have acquaintance, you can have your classmates, you can have class fellow, you can get their helps on projects, you can work together, but limit the interaction at that point. That's it. You don't have to kind of, you don't have to have friends that are gonna take you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't have to have friends in high school. You should have friends, no doubt about it. But if they're having influence on you, then you better just stick to your own, focus and stuff, and then that's it. You need to have your own principle. You need to have your own principle. You can be like, I only talk to girls if I really need to, for projects, for work. That's it. There's no interaction other than that. If you stick to your principle, people will have more respect for you. Maybe not at that time, because in high school, whatever freshman year, or maybe like 8th grade, or maybe 10th grade, they might not be thinking of you like that at that time, at that particular moment. But when you stand your ground, they are gonna be like, yo, this guy, respect to this guy. He actually has his principle, and he stick by that. At that time, they're gonna put you under a lot of pressure. And then here's another one they're gonna do. Here's the example that people used to use when I went to school. Do you lie? Well, everybody lies. At one point, they're gonna lie. We shouldn't be lying, but it happens, right? Well, isn't lying a sin? Okay. Then they will mention every other sin that they're doing. That if you're lying, what's wrong with doing all these other things? So let's go back to our gym example again. Let's say you go work out in the gym, and give me one good unhealthy food. Man, that's really bad. Like, give me a little bit less unhealthy. All right, let's go with French fries, right? Let's say you go to gym and you are eating healthy and everything, and you're working out, but you can't resist French fries, So you eat one portion of French fries every other day. Every other day you eat one portion of French fries. Every other day. Now, you'd be like, yeah, I do this. Now someone can say, dude, you're eating French fries. Why can't you have a hamburger? Why can't you have like a, a beef burger? Why can't you have like a fried chicken? Dude, you are talking about a whole bucket of fried chicken here and comparing to the little portion of French fries that he cannot resist and he has to have, you know? So, yes, I mess up sometimes, but that doesn't mean I have to take this as a justification to mess up everything else, you know? You see? So, like, sometimes people will say, like, you know, oh man, these people are coming and praying, and these are the kids, or these are the people that cause so much damage to other place, or they're doing this, they're doing that. Well, don't worry about it. You know, a person, like, so in the time of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, one Sahabi came to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and he said, you know, such and such person, he prays tahajjud. So not just that he's praying 5 times a day, he wakes up for tahajjud. He prays tahajjud, but in the daytime he goes and steal. He actually goes out and steal. So Rasulullah didn't tell him, you know, tell him to stop praying tahajjud. You know, what's the point of tahajjud if you're going to go steal? And he said, you know what? Just give him some time. His tahajjud and his salah will stop him from stealing. So the good things you do will stop you from doing the bad things, but it takes time. You know, like you just kind of consistently do it. You know, Allah. And then here's the thing: when we are, like, for his example, right? So let's say you love French fries, but you have discipline and you do not eat French fries, and you're going to the gym. You're going to the gym, you're not eating French fries, and you have a lot of temptation against French fries. But one day you did eat French fries. What you gonna do? Gym guys, what you gonna do? You ate French fries. You didn't want to eat, but apparently Sheikh Osman showed up with really nice those masala fries and, you know, like some other fries and, you know, like 20 different kinds, and you're like, man, I gotta try some of these things. And you ate it. And now, what are you gonna do? The gym guys, what you gonna do? Work out a little extra. Right there. Be like, man, I shouldn't have eaten, but this guy is messed up. He brought me the French fries. So I gotta eat. I ate the French fries, now what do? I gotta hit the gym again right now. I gotta do extra session, right? Is it right? So just like that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Quran, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. The good deeds, it removes bad deeds. So when you slip for anything, take this as a principle. When you slip at any time, when you slip, this is what you gotta do. You gotta go back. You gotta do something good so that it removes your bad deed. Do a good deed so it removes your bad deed, and you can move on a little bit better than without doing that good deed. So now, let's go back to this thing now. What other thing are we missing from our spirituality? From our, you know, like we talked about the physical environment, we talked about the physical well-being, the food and everything a little bit, right? And then we talked about the spirituality a little bit. Now, I would like to request our ulama hazrat here to provide their input for these beloved youngsters as to what can they do spiritually, physically, to improve their well-being and fight against temptations, inshallah. So everybody can give input, but specifically ulama hazrat, you know, what are you guys thought? What are the points that we're missing here? I see one of the hazrat is Googling and inshallah, coming up with some, you know, good answers, inshallah. I can pick on him, he's a good friend of mine. I didn't cover everything. There's no way I covered everything. Okay, what else? So let's talk about some practical aspects of it, right? And then we're gonna finish after this one, inshallah. Some practical aspects of it. I know, like, you guys are, now you're sleepy, huh? You stayed here last night? Yeah, you weren't sleeping last night, I know. Now you're sleepy. So come here, Bacha, come here. I'm gonna ask you some questions so you wake up, you know? All right. So now, what are the things? You know, everybody's gonna be at different stage, different things. Those of you that are doing hifz or in madrasa, you guys are gonna have different things you're fighting. Those of you that are going to schools out there, school or college, you're gonna have different things you're dealing with. But I want to hear some of those things, and it's not just something that you are struggling with yourself, but it's something that people in your category, like your classmates or someone else, is struggling. You don't have to give your own struggle, but just general struggle that you see. What are those struggles? want to just hear and see how can we kind of work on those. Hmm. Yeah, LGBTQ. Someone made a thing about it. LGBT, like let's go eat biryani or something like that. Yeah, yeah. Let's go eat biryani tonight. LGBTQ or something. I don't know how that works. Right? Something like that. Yeah, I would like to eat biryani, man. No doubt about that. We had it last night. It was pretty good. So, how do you avoid interacting with them? Huh? It's a temptation. You're saying. Oh, biryani. I was thinking about what the kid was saying. I'm like, where are we going, man? Like, so here's the thing. Um, First of all, let's address the other issue, what you're talking about, but not what you ask. Generally speaking, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us with some sort of shahwat. Some there is shahwat on all of us. There is something, right? Most of us, or majority of us, gonna have that shahwat for an opposite gender. But unfortunately, sometimes people go the wrong path, and then they have the shahwat for the same gender. So first thing to remember, the shahwat that someone has, any shahwat, doesn't have to be the per se sexual, any kind of shahwat. If there is a halal way to do it, then you find that halal way and do it. If there is no halal way to do it, then you just don't do it. For example, someone might be really tempted to go out and drive. Let's say someone brought a Lamborghini. Man, I really want to drive this car. Well, you're not your car. You don't own it. You don't have the authority to go steal that car and drive. Well, I really want to drive it. No, you can't drive it. It's not your car. You're not allowed to drive it. So if you have a temptation, whether that be whatever, if it's not halal in any way in Islam, you're not supposed to do it. Done deal. There's no other way around it. Oh, that's how I feel. That's how. It doesn't matter what you feel. We all feel something. I feel like I feel like spending $1 million. I don't have $1 million to spend $1 million. I feel like doing it. Yes, that doesn't mean the government's going to write me a check tomorrow. Oh, here's a few $1 million. Go ahead and spend. I feel like doing it. Yes, you know, it's just something. Some things aren't allowed. When you get really depressed, then you feel like committing suicide. You're not allowed to do it. You can't just go commit suicide. So just because you feel something doesn't mean you have to do it or you should be doing it. And here's another thing. The next question comes in, and this is along the same line, but not the same way. But and this is a question that actually, and I'm quoting a question directly from a student in college when I was in college. Well, Allah created love, and this person was in love with someone. Allah created love. Why did He create it if it was so wrong? Why did He create it if it was wrong? Well, Allah created shaitan too. Allah created hell as well, Jahannam. Allah created Allah created everything. Allah is the creation of all things. Our Hazrat Mufti Abdullah this morning in Fajr recited that, right? Allahu khaliqu kulli shay. Everything, right? Allah created every single thing. So now you think about it. If Allah created everything, does that mean everything is allowed? No. Allah created snake too. Why don't you just go, take like those copperhead and sit with them for a little bit? You're not going to do that. You're not stupid. So Allah created, just because Allah created love doesn't mean you just go do with whoever you want to do with. No. If there is a legal path, there is a halal way, sure. If there isn't a halal way, that's one of those things. That's where Rasulullah mentioned in a hadith, "Ad-dunya sijnul mu'min wa jannatul kafir." This world is a prison cell for the believer. What does it mean? That means when the salah is 6:15 for Fajr, you gotta be here 6:15 for Fajr. It's a schedule. In prison there's a schedule, right? I mean, I've never been there, but this is the understanding, right? Hopefully None of us been there, or at least just visitations, hopefully only, for some, um, as an imam or something, or as a Muslim representative. Anyways, so this, they have a schedule for everything. There's limitations on everything. You're allowed to do certain things, you're not allowed to do certain things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us this is a prison cell for you. There are things you should not be doing. There are things you should be doing, meaning what you are told to do. If you don't do it, you're going to be punished. What you are told to stay away from and you do it, you're going to be punished. You know? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us this, because because we don't get into a habit of doing things, and we remember that we're doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's not just a habit of just keep doing something. What happens? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends the month of Ramadan. Now the same halal food from halal earning, the same thing, the water and everything else, when the adhan of Fajr is called, that's it, done. It's a halal food from my halal earning. No, you can't have it. Why? Because you're in a prison here. You do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. The rules, you have to do this. That's it. Okay. As soon as it's time to open your fast, you can't say, oh, I'm boycotting, or I'm not going to eat. Well, I didn't eat all day. Well, Allah didn't want me to eat. Now I'm allowed to eat. I'm not going to. No. As soon as Allah says eat now. Well, I don't feel like eating. You have to eat now. Open your fast. You have to eat now. There's no way other way around it. Go ahead. Eat. So even eating time is set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salah time, the prayer, is set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every single thing, when you're going to worship, and even the time you're not supposed to do sujood. Sujood is the best thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves sujood. But there are times Allah said, you cannot do sujood. Why? Allah is teaching you. You're not doing the sujood for the sujood. You're doing sujood to me. So you do it when I tell you to do it, and you don't do it when I tell you not to do it. So that you learn the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from that. This is the obedience to Allah, obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now let's give me some more examples here. I know everybody's sleeping here. I wish you guys had gotten just 1 more hour of sleep last night. You would come up with some more examples. Okay, so now how to go back to your thing, right? How to avoid interacting with them. The question comes in is that, before that, do you need to avoid interacting with them? Are they influence on you, or are you influence on them? No, this is your dad was right. He's not wrong. Oh, okay. Alrighty. We'll take 5 more minutes. Okay, 5 more minutes. I can't see time, and it says like 8:30, and I'm like, it can't be 8:30. 6:50. Oh, the whole time I'm thinking it's 6 something. I can't see, and it says 7:31. Subhanallah. Yes, that's what you guys get for not letting me sleep last night. Okay, let's go back to this thing now. Okay, very quickly, right? So whether it's LGBTQ, whether it's even straight people, if what are you in school? What grade? 8th grade. So 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade is when everything starts. When this is where everything starts. And then 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, you're going to go through, you're going to see. And then after you go 2nd years of college, things start to calm down after that a little bit too. So this is the hot area from 8th or maybe 7th to 14, you want to say, right? So now, number one, so if you want to avoid interactions, you don't just avoid from LGBTQ. You also avoid from anybody that that shows their, how do I say it? Anybody that's in a relationship with an opposite gender, and then they show it. They show it in the school, because that's what's going to happen in your 8th grade, if not so much, definitely in high school, where they're going to be openly kissing and hugging and doing things in a break time or between classes and stuff So you don't want to just single them out, the LGBTQ. You also want to avoid interaction with those people. So, but then there's something like, keep it professional. Like, meaning, if you're assigned a class project, and teacher said, uh, you know, these five people are going to be in a group. These five people are going to be in a group, and you happen to have one of the persons that's LGBTQ. So you can't say, "Oh, I'm not going to interact with them. I'm not going to work with them." No, you are there to do what? A project. You're not there to do any LGBTQ activity with them. Just like that, if there was a normal straight person, but he has, let's say it's a boy and he has a girlfriend, or a girl who has a boyfriend, you're not there to be part of the relationship. You're there to do the work. So you do your work. So this is where the focus comes in. I'm here to do my work. I'm going to do my work. Now, a lot of times there is a discussion that comes in, and this is a discussion that they're trying to trap you. They're going to entrap you with this discussion. Oh, what does Islam say about LGBTQ? It's haram, just like even a straight relationship is haram. You can't have a boyfriend or girlfriend and just be like, a man can't have a boyfriend or girlfriend. So it's haram is haram. We can't have it. I'm not, well, you think we're weird people, we're against you, this and that. Well, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I'm not endorsing your relationship, and I'm not endorsing any straight person's relationship here, because haram is haram here. I'm not going to be involved in it. I'm not going to be part of it. But when it comes to class project, when it comes to some of those things, yeah, and here's your chance to shine at that time, that when it comes to these things, you have to show yourself as a proper Muslim person there. You can't be like, yeah, you know what, we're not allowed to do these things, but I do it anyway. No, 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 no. You are the representative of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Quran, you are the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khalifa of Allah directly. You're representing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over there. So you have to show your deen, you have to show it properly. Fortunately or unfortunately, whatever you want to call it, you are in a country where we are minority, and people are going to look at every single one of us to see how Muslims are. A lot of people say, "Oh, Islam is good, but I'm not a good Muslim, so don't look at me." Well, who else are they going to look at? Who else are they going to look at? They're outside. They're not going to come to the masjid to look at your imam. They're not going to come, to the masajid to look at. They're going to see, most of them going to see what they see outside. I'm mostly in Fredericksburg area, and here is the thing we have over there. A lot of folks we have over there, they're car dealers. A lot of Muslims are car dealers over there. They don't necessarily live in Fredericksburg. Half of them probably do. Other half come from Northern Virginia and stuff. And you know what happens? Majority of them, and I say this, majority of them, they would sell a car that's junk. They'll sell a car that's junk. Here's Sheikh Osman, he has a mechanic shop. Ask him when they come for inspection, what kind of cars they bring when they come for inspection. He doesn't pass them. It's like, take this car back, it's junk. Not gonna pass the inspection. But there are people that will pass the inspection and then they'll sell it to you. Now imagine this non-Muslim person. Fredericksburg is diverse now. Go back 20 years, 20, 30 years. Go back 30 years. And you would not find, you'll find maybe a handful of Muslims. That's it. It's Fredericksburg, South Stafford, North Stafford, and then the west side of that, and even a little bit more west. All of this area, especially go to Warrington side, pure white area. They've not seen Muslims like that before. And now they go try to buy a car. And they pay you a market price. They're not paying you cheap money. They're paying you market price. You're not selling them cheap. And I say you, I don't mean any of you. I mean us Muslims. We're selling them a car that's a market price and giving them junk. They drive for a few days and they're like, you know what? Anytime I see a Muslim name, I don't want to buy a car from them. We have destroyed all of our representation in the community altogether. These guys are bad people. I don't want to buy from them. It's one thing you sell it super cheap, and they're like, yeah, he sells junk, but it's cheap, so I can, sometimes you build in that money. The car is supposed to be $5,000. I bought it for $4,000, so I build in about $800 to repair. So any problem comes in, I'll pay for that. That's different. The car is $5,000, but you're selling it for $8,000 because I'm as a dealer selling it to you. I'm a dealer. Okay, now you sell junk, And I'm giving you that example here. Think of it. When people are dealing with you, you are one of those Muslims that they know. And you might not think right now, 10 years later, they're going to think of you and they're going to think of you and be like, you know what, how they were. And you might get, sometimes I get questions right now from the people from high school and college, you know. Sometimes I get random questions, like out of nowhere. I haven't heard from this guy in 15 years and they'll be messaging me, hey, I have this question about you guys, or I have this question, I have that question. So they'll take you as an expert. I mean, you might not be an expert, but they'll take you as an expert. So just think about it, these things, inshallah. We're out of time. I would love to take more of your time, especially those that didn't let me sleep last night. Again, I'm going to mention one more time, but inshallah, and I'm mentioning it, as a joke. Don't worry about it. Alhamdulillah, we got good sleep last night. May Allah give us tawfiq, all of us. Alhamdulillah. I'll pass it back to Sheikh Omar.
Assalamu alaikum, my dear respected brothers. Inshallah, we'll have the breakfast right now. So once the breakfast is over, then the brothers who are doing itikaf, or brothers in general, can come and rest. And then the programs will resume